There we go. Yo, what's up? So this is where we are. So this is the 10th of 9th of January trade recap. This is quite a lot to go through, so let's just pretty much cut right to it. Start off initially. So if we go here, replay mode, back to like this time. This is when I start looking at the charts. So I start looking at the charts now, just a bit before market open, and I see, so we have these data lows here. So this is the data low from a 130, I believe. Yep, 130 red folder news. And so we hit these. And in higher time frame, I'm very... So this hadn't happened yet. So if I can do this. Oh. Look, issue stays. Here, right. Here you go. Okay. So it was around here, and there was this 1 hour hourly fair value gap which just got hit. So that just got hit, and then within we look low and we see all of this low resistance liquidity. So I'm looking to try and move lower, because moving lower allows us to, one, eventually move higher, and then also just take out all this low resistance which is just lying here to be taken. So look at this. So we're seeing here we move lower, we respect this hourly fair value gap. I think this is a 4 hour as well. No, it was not. So never mind. We take this hourly fair value gap, move lower. We end up inversing this, moving higher, moving lower, moving higher, whatever, and then breaking out bullish. And so I'm sort of looking for a pullback bearish to then go higher here. And so if I'll scale down to the 15-minute to try and justify this, I then see all of this stacked low resistance liquidity here. And then this is obviously the 1 hour, which was formed in the higher time frame. And then I see this tap up, take out of this liquidity here, and pull back into this 1 hour and form this internal low. So this low within this 1 hour, I don't believe it. Yeah, here. This is like a huge draw on liquidity, and if we can get that to get hit and form a setup of that, that's like pretty much what I'm looking for. And so I would like this to get hit, and then look for either a MEC model higher and then a continuation lower towards all this low resistance liquidity, because I'm short-term bearish and long-term bullish, because obviously, like, look at all this above here, we have all of this above, so I'm looking for just like a retrace lower and then up. If I can just get a retrace before and then longs after, that's literally what I'm looking for, like textbook. And so going down into that lower time frames, we see market hasn't opened yet, and then hasn't opened. This comes to we're like an hour from open, so just spam this. Hadn't even been looking at things in charts yet. This was 130 news, formed a data low here, spiked up. Hadn't even been looking at the charts yet, and I think when it came to here, this is when I started looking at the charts. So what's this? 15 minutes before market open, formed this sort of high here, internal high, previous session high, we'll call it. Formed this 15-minute fair value gap. This was formed when this low, these 15 minutes were finished when there was 2:30 market open. But the first trade I looked to take in today was a pre-market trade. And so if I look at the setup here, I would just, sorry about that. Keep on doing this, man. Okay. So initially, I'm just watching it from here, watching price down below. I'm waiting to start marking out like recent lows, high areas of liquidity that I'm targeting in the new session. However, I end up seeing this internal low in this 1 hour fair value gap get hit, and that's like a huge draw on liquidity that I wanted to see get hit and see like a reaction off of, to see where price was likely to move. And of course, short-term bearish, long-term bullish. So ideally, I would have seen a bearish entry towards like a lower time frame, lower area liquidity, and so seeing this get hit and then forming a bearish fair value gap on this was literally perfect. So I wanted to see this get tapped into, forming a fair value gap bullish, and then inversing that to get an entry lower towards either this into this recent low or here. Bearing in mind, marking here would have been like a 4 hour out, which is just not what I was looking for. And then so after seeing price move, we ended up forming a fair value gap bullish. This was a bullish at the time. Go on, mark it up. Bullish fair value gap, and then hadn't broken this fair value gap, so this 1 minute was still holding, even though we worked above. It's fine. It hasn't closed above. So this 1 minute was still holding, and this 1 minute had just formed bullish, and so we were respecting bearish price action, and then we were seeing how we were reacting off of bullish, and after this one candle closure, I believe, yep, here, displacement candle down, inversing this fair value gap, and respecting this bearish fair value gap in the 1 minute, and I was just going to target this recent low with I was just going to target the recent low with a stop loss at the recent high. Just because I had a pretty short-term bearish to try to take out that low resistance, but this respecting this 1 minute fair value gap was like properly like a sign that we were trying to move lower, and then this huge displacement through this fair value gap, inversing it was great, and so we played through it, moved lower, moved higher, moved lower, and then eventually hit TP and absolutely smashed it. This trade, so if I was to go through based off of my funded account, I was in drawdown already in my funded, and I'd risked one contract on this, so whatever I was taking was one contract's worth, and so I couldn't do any less. And then when I wicked up here, this wick up before this wick down, didn't matter anyway because it didn't hit TP. But this wick up ended up liquidating my funded account because it ended up going beyond my drawdown, my overall drawdown. So halfway through this, I ended up getting exited from this trade, and my account ended up just completely failing. And this was my Tradeify account. And following this, following this, I was, of course, like, I'm pretty annoyed. I started looking for longs, and then, no, wait, that's a lie. So following this, my account ends up liquidating and whatever. And then the day before, I'd bought a Alpha Futures account. And so then I try switching to my Alpha Futures account, which I do in this little bottom panel here. I changed my Alpha Futures account, and I start looking like, this was a pre-market trade. It was a winner, but I couldn't take it because I got liquidated out. Wait, that's actually a lie. That happened yesterday. I think I lost my account yesterday, but then earlier today, this wick up, I ended up not being able to take. I actually can't fully remember. Either, okay, it wicked up. I think it wicked up and it just like exited my whole entire. No, that was yesterday. Fuck, that was yesterday. Today, right, I tried to take this short on my new account with Alpha Futures, but I couldn't because I started getting like some bugging thing out on my Alpha Futures account. I had to call Lucas, my trading partner, and speak about like why it wasn't working, because we both looked at taking this exact same setup at the exact same time, but we both couldn't because both of our accounts were bugging out because we got them yesterday. We forgot we had to verify them in like the Tradeovate like actual site through after going through what's it called? Alpha Futures. So we ended up going through Alpha Futures and verifying them. After that, which was kind of annoying here, look, so we hit this liquidity here. We formed this fair value gap. Yeah. And so if we want to take like a perfect mech model trade, like okay, I think this ended up playing out. We literally could have taken longs here towards that 50-minute unfilled with this at the swing low, because we ended up getting a 1-to-1. Yeah, that's fine. And I think, yeah, look there. So that ended up smashing TP, and we looked at taking this trade, but we couldn't because of our funded accounts not allowing us. So yeah, this one was a funded issue. So I couldn't take this trade because my funded account wasn't working, and nor was Lucas's, because we hadn't verified it on our actual brokerage. And so then so we took this account and we were like, why didn't work and they had this candle down, called each other, fixed it, and whilst we were fixing it, this setup, this perfect mech model actually occurred, targeting this 15-minute, which would have been perfect. Anyways, didn't manage to take this, fixed our funded. Lucas walked away. I was had a bit left, had a bit more time to like mess around and stuff, and was looking at the charts. And so I was just staying, watching. I was looking at everything going on, and it was like freaking just ranging. And then we ended up forming this bearish 1 minute and this accumulation here and this bearish 1 minute. And I was so bearish on the day. I really wanted to see all this liquidity get taken out. And so I was looking for shorts for quite a lot of time. And I ended up, when I saw this, so this 1 minute form and see it get retraced into and then respected, I was very like, oh, I can really see this just like tracing lower. And so I ended up taking a short, trying to go break even at this internal low, and then targeting the first area of low resistance with that thing, with the high at this high, but then like the body of the high, just because it was like a tiny wick, I was just like, it's a pretty big displacement candle lower, thinking it was really bearish, and it ended up just chopping around loads here, and then it hit 3 o'clock news at this time, and it wicked me out, and then it went and ran and hit TP. And to be completely honest with you, I'm actually glad that I got wicked out, because the only conference I entered off of was this fair value gap getting respected. And if I had a 30-second time frame and I could see an inverse, then yes, fine, completely. I could have taken this, but having my stop loss up here towards the actual high, not the body of the high, would have been completely fair, because this is protected, whereas here it's not, because here you can still wick up and then still be in a bearish, like delivering from buy side, going lower, whereas if you're up here, if it breaks through here, it's most likely going to close above here, and then you've broken structure and your trade idea isn't valid. So realistically, if I had a 30-minute inversion here, 30-second inversion here, targeting low, it would have been 100% valid. Have my stops had been at this protected high, this protected stop loss level, sorry. But the fact that my stops were not protected, whilst I entered off of one bearish fair value gap getting respected by one candle, was just pathetic. And I think that's why I'm glad this trade failed, was because if this won, I would have been like, oh yeah, I can take this whenever, but I can't. And so learning that I can't start taking trades off of just these like continuations of like being scared to sort of miss these moves down to lower levels, it was really good. And so I'm happy that I lost this trade. But the fact that my overall discretion of where price was moving was correct was like a very good learning lesson to like, this is where price is going. I'm correct. I shouldn't have taken it because of this, and this. So I'm really happy how this trade panned out, the fact that I was lost. And I think that's also shows how far I've come with like winning and losing, and showing that like I'm happy my model's working, and I can see where my psychology and emotion is getting like taking like control rather. And so, long story short, lost this trade because of those multiple reasons, and I'm happy I lost the trade. But then after this, I was down a bit, and I just stayed on the charts. I ended up going away to do something. And then halfway through that, I looked back, and I saw this 1 minute form, and I believe it was 2 minute as well, which is what I entered off of. So here, yes, this 2 minute form, and then this 2 minute candle. Huge displacement candle. Ended up inversing. this. I ended up entering long off of this inversion because we had a mech model trade of taking out low resistance liquidity, moving higher, inversing the highest inversion, highest fair value gap in the leg, inversed it in the 2 minute. Entered long off of here with break even at the first low, and then partial / trading at the intermediate high, internal high, and then final TP at just a recent high, previous session, I believe. Wait, previous session. And so let this play out. Ended up hitting break even, moved break even, ended up just missing it by a tick, which is brilliant. Just tracked higher, took out this internal higher, looked at moving my I had already moved my stop loss to here, but then I tried to take partials, but I'd only done one contract, so I couldn't take any partials, and then I moved trailing to around here. This level here on the most recent swing low, because I sort of saw as like, if this fair value gap gets tested and inversed and shot lower, then this trade is going to move lower towards this low resistance over here. So I put my stop loss here, but then price ended up smashing this, and then also ended up smashing that as well. So I'm happy I hit this. Brilliant trade, unreal. Really happy. I saw quite a few influencers take this as well. This trade, I'm happy I took it because it helped me learn loads. I mean, I lost, but it's the cost of losing is, I feel like it's minimal to the cost of winning. So I feel like this is good. This was like a fine trade. Luke and I both looked at it, but we couldn't take it because we were faffing around with our fundeds. And this was a good pre-market trade. Couldn't take it because, of course, we were faffing around with our fundeds. But if you look at it, it's 3 wins on the day and 1 loss. And that loss gave me lessons, which I think will pay off a big time in the future. So 100% I'm happy. And then if I go to my trade check account, just to check out my stat. If I go here, don't mind all this fucking shit. This was my pre-market trade. Very happy with this. Perfect trade. Just couldn't take before. But funded bugging out. A-star setup and good discretion. Of course, 1 minute inversion, one minute fair value gap respected, 1 minute inversion, targeting internal low, done. You got this one. Annoying, shouldn't have taken as not enough conferences. However, it was a valid trade in the sense of a super high drawn liquidity and 1 conference, just not enough. Worked out by 3 p.m. Red Full News. If I hadn't taken it, it would have been a dub, but would have deserved it. So glad it lost. So yeah, same here. Just glad it lost, really. I think it's a good learning lesson. And the final trade, perfect trade, super happy, good entering risk management, no emotion into account. Here, this is based off of the break even and then just getting like unwicked, I guess, and then shooting to highs and then no. So long story short, I'm really happy with how today went. Lots of psychology learnt, lots of lessons to learn from this trade especially, and also this one to prove the fact that I can trade and I can show that emotion doesn't take into account. I just need to be patient because, like, look, this trade happened at 3:14, which is 44 minutes after market open. And the fact that I can wait 44 minutes after market open and catch a 1.63 RR without even going to drawdown once, I think is unreal. And if I can just maintain doing this would be brilliant. And if I can stop doing these types of trades, that'd be great. But stopping these types of trades, I feel like will take time, and obviously it will just take discretion of me knowing when to not. And the fact that there wasn't a second inverse fair value gap here should have been like a show to be like, don't take this. And even if my trade was here and my stop loss was protected, yeah, I would have won, but I would never have deserved to win it. So I'm really glad it lost. And then of course this one, good trade. This one, good trade. After this, I would have been done anyway, and which is a 1-to-1. So whatever. I'm happy with how today went. Lots of lessons to be learnt, and then I'm just really looking forward to next week and just applying all of these lessons and applying all of this, everything I learned over the past few days, and seeing where it goes. So, no, I will see you guys next week. But this was the 9th of January trade recap. Thank you.